They've had a great summer, I think. They won't let us go out there with them much at all. So, you know, you talk to our strength staff and all that kind of thing, but I think they've taken where we left off in the spring and gone forward, and that's what we have to do when we start back to practice. We can't go back to where we were on day one of spring practice. We got to go on. And so that's the thing I've challenged those guys to do, and then to be able to throw a DJ Reader and a Carlos Watkins in that mix, you know, and where can Trey Thomas help this football team, you know, and that kind of thing. So I feel good about the progress of them. They're young. You can't buy experience. We got to go good against good as much as we can afford to. We did a lot in the spring, and we got to this fall to a point that then you have to get ready to play. But we got to play good against good because that's the only way you get experience.
Do you feel like you'll have to play one of the two?
Like I said, I don't like to play them because they have to play. You know, last year we really went through the load of the snaps all went to Brandon and Rennie and Tyler Shatlin. Well, Shatlin moved and very willing to do so, and that kid would do anything to help his football team, and I think he did help his football team. He would have been a good, solid player for us. I think he's going to be a great player there for them, you know, on the offensive line. So I don't like to put that on one, but I think they're ready to play. Those guys, I think Carlos benched 365 pounds and DJ benched 400 pounds yesterday. So they're physically ready to play if they can learn the scheme enough, and there's no doubt that this football is different than playing at Chase High School or Grimsley High School. And when they get hit by Tyler Shatley right in the mouth, you find out is he a he-dog or a she-dog, or, you know, do they like it? Because they got to go get their nose bloodied and find out. But those two guys, I think, coming in have a chance to help us. And probably Carlos at tackle and DJ at nose is the way I see it right now without getting on the field with them. But I think there is a chance because you'd love to have 5 guys that you really felt good about going into the game. The best I've ever been is when I just rolled those guys and you really didn't care who was out there. So if you can get to that point because they're all about the same age, then that's how we can be the very best. Stay fresh.
I guess Deshaun and Grady were both true freshmen last year. How have you seen them progress in their year on campus?
Strength levels are much better. Pad level is always a big deal with high school kids because what happens? We don't recruit anybody that's not a dominant high school defensive lineman. Well, so they just kind of throw little guys out of their way that can't really block them and run and make plays. So they play too high. Well, all of a sudden you line up against Auburn and you get hit in the mouth by standing up. So pad levels, strength levels, I think they really improved their game. Deshaun has some great instincts. He's an instinctive football player. Grady, great strength levels, great leverage, that kind of thing. And Josh Watson has come so far in the last year's time with his strength levels, with his work ethic, with his every part of Josh Watson's got, even off the field. He's a very good student now. He's doing well in school. His whole life is, hey, it's my turn. And I think we'll all know more about Josh Watson than you even thought you would after a couple of ball games. But I really feel good about what he's done to improve his game. So Grady and Deshaun have done really good things with strength levels, with pad leverage and those kind of things as far as making progress. The biggest thing's just got to still keep coming is playing with their hands, getting off of blocks. Obviously the scheme's a little bit different for them, but not anything drastic. And so I'm pleased with the progress of where we are, and we'll see, you know, when we walk out there August 3rd, you know, what retention do they have.
In all your years of experience, have you been in a situation where you're the most experienced guy?
You know, somebody else asked me that, and I don't know that I have. There's always been at least one bell cow guy, kind of, I guess, you know, and got Malachi outside, but you don't have that. And that's what Tyler Shatley and I had already sat down and talked. That's what he was going to be, you know. He was going to be that guy that's been in the game when the game was on the line and has done those kind of things. So I don't know that I have that everybody is either a freshman or sophomore, you know. And so that's not an excuse. You know, you can't buy a game experience, but when you go play against the best we got, you know, Brandon Thomas or Dalton Freeman. You know, that guy's on a lot of lists. So if we can play against him and hold our own, then maybe we can when we get to the ball game. But I don't know that I've been in a situation of not having one guy at least that been through it all, knows exactly how it's been. So, but I do feel good about the way they're handling it. You know, because I've sat down and talked to them about, hey, you know, there's a toughness that has to be with their position. We don't have any plays where the receiver comes off and jacks around, don't really do anything, the cornerback don't get hit. My guys are going to get hit every play. So we don't have any of those plays. So, you know, they've got to play the game with an attitude in there. You really do. And you can be a nice guy, and I want them to say yes sir, no sir, and yes ma'am, and no ma'am. But when you get out there, you better have an attitude, you know. That guy's coming, so you better come too.
Can that be concerning because you can't teach what attitude?
Well, to a point, but toughness I think can be taught. You know, when you just put them in situations that they have to go over and over and over against a good player, and you find out they are or they aren't. You know, they're going to get that toughness or they're going to bow out. And I haven't seen them bow out of anything. Those three guys have done everything. And Tavares may be a guy that we've talked about a lot as a staff, and with them three and with Carlos coming in, DJ's situation, where can Trey Thomas help us, that Tavares may have to help us outside. He's been outside some before, and Coach Venables, I'm sure, will talk to you about that, Coach Sweeney may, but we try to look at, we want to get the best four out there, and then who's the next best four, and Tavares missed a lot of work this spring, but he has played DN in high school, he's played DN here, moved in there and did a nice job for him. So he's going to be a contributor, but can he help us better outside? Because Malachi's the only experienced guy, you know, in the whole front four. So if we're better off inside, I don't like to lose anybody, but I want us to be the best we can be. So, you know, I've coached all four at one time. Coach Hobby's done that too. So we're going to get the best four out there. If Tavares is one of those four, we don't care where he is. And if he's one of the best, second best four, we don't care where he is.
I know you said this through Williams.
Williams, Jared, and Watson. Right. Those would be. I don't know who could take the first snap, but they got all out in the spring. They didn't miss anything, and they showed a toughness of growing up, you know, to be. So you got, you know, two freshmen and a red shirt. Well, they'll be sophomore.
What's going to be the biggest difference for these guys going from Steele to Venables? Is it language? Is it something else?
Yeah, you know, a lot of people do the same thing, call it something different, you know. But there is a difference scheme-wise. As far as for my guys, it's probably less than maybe, you know, some of the others, the secondary or linebackers or that kind of thing because of coverage or whatever. But for my guys, we had already taught, and I think football changes, and you have to be willing to change and to be able to change some with it. It's gotten so sideways, stretching the field from sideline to sideline and vertically that offensive guys are using the whole field. That we've always been very much an attack front. We want to continue to do that, but you've got to be able to adjust a little bit. And so we were going to make some little simple adjustments, and they have. But I think just that guy brings not that Coach Steele didn't, but he brings a tremendous energy, tremendous respect as far as what he's done defensively and that kind of thing. So Brent's very much a guy, go coach your guys, but he might coach any of them on the field on play because he knows what everybody's supposed to be doing and encourages us to do the same thing. So when you ask what's just for my guys, I don't think, you know, scheme-wise you see it a lot different as much as you will in the coverage in a linebacker situation.
I think something spurred on Watson's improvement in so many areas.
Yeah, I think that he just realizes it's my time. You know, sometimes you're sitting there behind a Rennie Moore and a Brandon, and you shouldn't be that way. But I've seen it happen to where they kind of take that back seat, and you'd rather they not do that. You'd rather go compete to start. And I go back and relate to what Cole Stout did a year ago on the other side of the ball. He came in and competed because, you know, Taj had been here, but you didn't know, nobody played. Who's the quarterback going to be? And that's what our guys, I think, this spring. It's not like there's somebody sitting out there that this guy's just going to magically show back up. You know, somebody out of this group's going to play. So who's it going to be? And I think Josh seized that opportunity very much because he was a highly recruited guy that came in and wasn't quite ready. You don't ever know that, but I feel really good about the progress he's made. And I think it's that he's grown up, he sees the opportunity, and he sees the opportunity.
That's the same thing I thought about.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, let's ride to Greensboro.